Let's try a thought experiment. Imagine you are walking through the Palace of Versailles in 1750. It is midnight. There are no overhead lights. There are no LEDs. The only light comes from thousands of beeswax candles flickering in chandeliers. You see a woman across the room wearing a diamond necklace. What does it look like? It doesn't look like the jewelry you see in a mall today. It isn't a blinding white flash. It is a slow, moody explosion of colored fire. It glows. It pulses. Now imagine taking that same necklace and putting it under the harsh fluorescent lights of a modern office. Suddenly it looks dead, it looks dark, it looks like broken glass. Why? Because a gemstone is a machine, and like any machine, it is built to run on a specific fuel. That fuel is light. For the last 500 years, as humans changed the way we light our world, we had to change the way we cut our rocks. We evolved from the soft, flickering chaos of the candle to the brutal, high-contrast intensity of the LED. Today we are going to track the evolution of the sparkle. We are going to look at why antique diamonds are taller, why modern diamonds are flatter, and how a math student in 1919 ruined the romance of the old mine cut forever. I'm Cody, this is Mystic Apothecary. Let's talk about the engineering of light. To understand the beginning, you have to understand the limitation. For most of human history, after the sun went down, the world was dim. In the 1700s and early 1800s, the primary light source was the candle or the oil lamp. This light has two specific qualities. First, it is weak. A single candle puts out about 12 lumens. A modern light bulb puts out 800. Second, it is warm. Candlelight is incredibly heavy in the red and yellow end of the spectrum. It has almost no blue in it. So, if you are a diamond cutter in the Georgian or Victorian era, your job is to take a stone and make it visible in a dark room. You don't care about brilliance, which is the return of white light, because there isn't enough white light to reflect. Instead, you focus on dispersion. You focus on fire. This gave birth to the old mine cut. If you look at an old mine cut diamond from the side, it looks like a little block. It has a massive high crown, the top part, and a very deep pavilion, the bottom part. The table, the flat facet on top, is tiny. The cule, the bottom point, is chopped off, leaving a visible hole that looks like a dark eye in the center of the stone. This geometry wasn't an accident. That high crown acted like a prism. It took the weak yellow candlelight and stretched it out. It bent the light so aggressively that it split into rainbows. So, in a candlelit ballroom, an old mine cut didn't just shine white. It threw big, chunky flashes of orange, red, and blue. It was designed to look romantic and soft. Also remember that these were cut by hand. They didn't have electricity to spin their cutting wheels. They followed the natural shape of the diamond crystal, which is why old mine cuts are almost always cushion-shaped, squarish with rounded corners. They were saving weight because diamonds were incredibly rare. But then, the world got brighter. In the mid to late 1800s, we get the Industrial Revolution. We get the brooding machine. This was a steam-driven lathe that allowed cutters to grind diamonds into perfectly round shapes for the first time. Simultaneously, we get gaslighting. Gaslight was brighter than candles, but it was still warm. But then came the Welsbach mantle, which made gaslight whiter and steadier, and eventually we get the early carbon arc lamps. The cutters responded with the old European cut. This is the transition species. It appeared around the 1890s. It was round thanks to the new brooding machines, but it still kept the high crown and the small table of the candle era. The old Euro is a fascinating stone. It has perfect symmetry compared to the lumpy old mine cut, but it still retains that chunky fire. It was designed for a world that was waking up but wasn't fully awake yet. It looks amazing in the warm glow of a gas lamp, but it starts to leak light when you hit it with strong overhead beams. Then came 1919, the year the romance died and the math took over. Enter Marcel Tolkowski. Tolkowski was a 19-year-old Belgian math student from a family of diamond cutters. He wrote a thesis called Diamond Design. He didn't look at diamonds as art, he looked at them as optical reflectors. He realized that the new electric lights, incandescent bulbs, were bright enough to change the goal. We didn't need to hunt for fire anymore. We had enough light to aim for brilliance. We wanted the stone to act like a mirror, taking the light from overhead, bouncing it off the back facets, and shooting it straight back into the viewer's eye. Tolkowski ran the numbers. He calculated the refractive index of diamond. He figured out the critical angle of total internal reflection. He came up with a specific recipe, a 53% table, a 34.5-degree crown angle, a 40.75-degree pavilion angle. If you cut a diamond to these exact specs, it becomes a light pump. It maximizes the return of white light. This became the modern round brilliant. Suddenly, the high crowns vanished. The tables got wider. The cutlet at the bottom disappeared to a sharp point. This cut was designed specifically for downlighting, the kind of electric lights you have in your kitchen or office. Under diffused overhead light, a Tolkowski cut looks dazzling. It looks white. It looks bright. But there was a trade-off. By lowering the crown height to get that white brightness, we lost some of the fire. A modern brilliant doesn't throw those big, chunky rainbows like an old minecart. It has a shattered, splintery sparkle. We traded mood for volume. And that brings us to the final era, the one we are living in right now. The LED era. In the last 20 years, lighting has changed again. We moved from incandescent bulbs, which are continuous spectrum and warm, to LEDs, which are discontinuous spectrum and often very cold white. But the biggest change is the point source nature of LEDs. Walk into a modern jewelry store. Look at the ceiling. You won't see big diffused fluorescent tubes anymore. You see tracks of tiny, intense LED spotlights aimed directly at the cases. This is scintillation lighting. An LED is a tiny, intense point of light. When you have 50 of them above a case, they create a disco ball effect. Modern diamond cutting has evolved to exploit this. We are seeing the rise of super ideal cuts and hearts and arrows. These are stones cut with laser precision to perfect optical symmetry. Why? Because under LED lights, the game is about contrast. To see sparkle, your eye needs contrast. You need bright spots next to dark spots. If a diamond was just a solid white glowing orb, it wouldn't look sparkly. It would look like a light bulb. You need the facet to flash on and then off as you move your head. Modern super ideal cuts are engineered to create crisp, sharp on-off patterns. They create dark zones within the stone, virtual facets, that make the bright zones look brighter by comparison. This is why a modern hearts and arrows diamond looks like a kaleidoscope of black and white fire under a jewelry store LED. It is optimized for the harsh, directional, high-contrast environment of the 21st century. But here's the irony. If you take that perfectly engineered super ideal Tolkowski diamond and you take it to a candlelit dinner, it looks boring. It goes dark. It doesn't have the high crown to catch the flickering candle flame. It needs the overhead power of the LED to work. Conversely, if you take that 200-year-old old minecart and put it under the LED spots, it looks weird. It has a hole in the center, the culet. It looks lumpy. It doesn't snap with that digital precision. So, when people ask, what is the best diamond cut? The answer isn't about geometry, it's about environment. Are you living in a world of candlelight and romance? Then you want the old minecart, the stone of fire and shadow. Are you living in a world of office lights and subway cars? Then you want the modern brilliant, the stone of white light and volume. We cut our gems to match our world, and as long as we keep inventing new ways to push back the dark, we will keep inventing new ways to cut the stone. I'm Cody, this is Mystic Apothecary. Like and subscribe for more gemstone history.